All right, I am Matthew Kemps with Lone Wolf Realty Group at eXp Realty. We have,
Matt Kirschling with Gold Star Mortgage.
and then our guest today is
Dina Dillard with All City Real Estate.
not for long.
Trying to poach me.
Okay, so again, this is Two Mats, One Market. Today, we're going to kind of just touch base with Dina, kind of what's going on in her business. What is the reaction she's getting from election? Are we getting people waiting? Are they trying to buy? Are they trying to sell? Where are we at? Is it a headache? Kind of, we'll dive into that, and then have Matt give his side of things, and then go from there. God, that coffee sounds good.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody what today is? I'll have this one up today.
Okay, well, today is election day. We either going to have no political comments here, okay? One of two things is going to happen, and we're going to go from there. Dina, let's jump right into your stuff, okay? Who are you? What's your background?
Are you trying to get me canceled right now?
On what?
To talk about the election and politics?
Canceled from what?
I'm just kidding. I feel like there is definitely a lot of buzz going around with the election right now. I know a lot of realtors try to keep that off of social media. We all have our own personal opinions on things. I just blast mine everywhere because I don't care.
I see a lot of agents that are, very vocal about their thoughts on.
The thoughts there is that you're killing 50% of your database because they could be. But on the flip side,
that is true. But I feel like your vibe is your tribe. So if you're not vibing with what I'm saying,
you were
then
saying everything that fits in perfectly to EXP. Okay, keep going.
Probably. That's kind of the way that I look at things. We just might not be a good fit together. And that's not saying that I don't have a lot of clients who have different political views than me. But overall, I'm not really sure what the question was.
Well, let's go back. Tell us about who you are, what's your background, why did you get into real estate? Let me give a condensed version of your bio.
Okay.
Or not. Give us the long version of your bio.
Yeah. So I come from a long line of Lebanese negotiators, I guess you could say, in all facets of things, real estate, automobile, doctors, I guess health insurance, and all kinds of stuff. Not really health insurance, just really doctors, lawyers, real estate moguls, people who have owned dealerships, I guess. So we're all very strong in negotiating. I started in real estate actually when I was selling cars. So I was the top salesperson at my dealership besides Brad Plachey, who actually trained me. Shout out, Brad. But I was the top every single month, and I realized, why am I doing this? So I started flipping properties on the side, and I was making a whole lot of money, and then people asked me for help. So then I started helping them while I was selling cars, and then I just kind of transitioned over, and that's a wrap.
There we go. Okay. So basically, real estate investing is going to be a big focus in your business.
Yeah, I'm primarily, I'm a third, and a third. So I'm a third luxury, commercial, a third first-time home buyer, and a third real estate investing. I'd say probably equal thirds.
Okay.
What do you like doing the most?
Obviously luxury, because it's so much fun. You get to see like the big, beautiful homes. It's always just really fun. There's not a lot of teeth pulling. I will say though that I really enjoy the investing side of it because it's all numbers, and I really love numbers.
Would you say the luxury side is actually the easiest too?
I would say luxury is extremely easy. So when I see people are like touting that they're luxury agents, I'm like, it's literally the easiest out of all three of those categories. It's the easiest. Commercial, sometimes Matt's my partner, different Matt. We'll take a week or two, depending on the financials and everything else that we need for some commercial deals to underwrite something before we can put an LOI on it. And it's just a lot of work. So, yeah.
Okay. When we're talking on the residential, or let's say first-time home buyers, was that the most difficult for you? Do you have a passion for it? Where are you at there?
I love first-time home buyers. My first-time home buyers, all of them are referrals. Actually, all of my clients are repeats and referrals. So my first-time home buyers, I love them to death because they know that what they don't know. And so they're very open, and they actually love when I explain things to them. They're very appreciative of it. So it's actually really fun working with first-time home buyers because I feel like I'm educating them and letting them make the decision Whereas a lot of agents, I feel like, kind of try to push their clients certain ways, and that I hate that so much. So I love to teach and I love to guide. That's my vibe.
Perfect. Okay. Say that again. What's your vibe?
I love to teach and I love to guide.
Got it.
That's my
Okay.
vibe.
Oh, ASMR now.
Got it. Yeah, I'm a big first-time home buyer fan for the exact reason you mentioned that, they ask good questions. They, they're not the guy that's like, I've done this before. And then, we get a quarter of the way through the process and then they're asking me why I'm requesting things that they didn't have to do when they bought a home in like 1994.
Right.
So I agree with you. But it's interesting to hear about the luxury market because I do not last year, but the year before. So that would have been 2022. I was the #1 Gold Star jumbo originator. So I've definitely done my fair share of luxury, and I've got such mixed emotions about it. I feel like it's 50-50. It's either what you've described, where it's simple, or there's a lot of, people that make pretty good money that are kind of full of shit in regards to their credit or what they actually make. So
1,000%.
Yeah, so on the lending side of things, it's a little different. I'm sure that, they're all acting like it's throw it in the bag, but it's not the case on my end. But the ones that have it together, I agree. It's pretty painless.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too, is just, I agree with you where there's a lot of people who they have a lot of clout. They're trying to act certain ways. I guess I've only seen it on the real estate side. I haven't seen it through the lending eyes, but I imagine that once you bust someone's financials open, there's probably a lot that you see.
Yeah, it's interesting. The worst ones are a lot of times doctors. I'm dead serious. I think it's because they're so busy. And then the thing that kind of is ironic is once we are like, yeah, your credit's kind of bad, we're going to have to work on a few things. They're like, well, I'll just pay it all off. And it's like, that's great. But that doesn't mean that, like, you haven't not paid people on time for months and months. So it's always interesting. Doctors are really bad at it.
Okay, Dina.
Not the doctors that I know.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if they're paying cash.
But
they
hey,
don't
your
need
vibe is your
financing.
tribe, right? That's exactly right where it comes in.
Exactly.
It's another EXP model, but okay. So let's move on. I had a thought and I just lost it. Okay, let's focus on election stuff because that is what we're currently in.
Yeah, not who you're going to vote for, but like what you feel, the election is going to do as far as real estate is concerned and all of those things.
Man, I'm going to tell you guys the same thing that I tell every single person every single day,
That's
which
what
is
we want to hear.
if I had, what is that, a glass ball?
A crystal ball?
A crystal ball, I would be a billionaire.
Sure.
So there's anyone who says they can predict stuff is just full of BS. And I'm just kind of taking it day by day, really. I mean, that goes with the market, that goes with comps, that goes with rates. It depends on the day.
Gotcha.
It depends on the week. It depends on the month.
So as a buyer, or a seller, if I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to wait until after the election, like that would be the day by day, you'd be okay with that?
So I had a few sellers actually that we just closed on their houses this past month. Both of them actually, 15%, both of them above what other ones were selling for. And they both wanted to wait until after the election. I have a strong, what's the word I'm looking for? Conviction that if your house is not on the market, then it's not going to sell.
Right.
So the waiting game, trying to time the market, again, we don't have crystal balls. It doesn't work. It's all about staging, marketing, and negotiating. That's what it comes down to. And if your agent...
I was going to say, what about the price you list at?
So I actually had those listed slightly above market, which I know is like a big no-no. But again, I dropped a buku of money on staging. And so mine were showing so well that when people walked in, they didn't care about the price. So I do feel like that does make a big difference. I priced well. I wasn't like overpriced. I was, right there. But I think there's some science to it. So if you price too low, it's like, what's wrong with it? If you price too high, people think this person's going to be miserable to work with.
Yeah.
Usually a seller is going to be miserable to work with. And it's really about agent follow-up. So all of my showings, I was following up with the agents. I was like, hey, we'd love to work a deal. They could tell that I was a nice person and I wasn't going to be, one of those agents who's trying to prove a point instead of sell their clients' houses. So yeah, It all works out.
Yeah, you see those agents. I feel like sometimes they think they're like 2/3
They think
realtor,
they're God
like
or something.
quarter lawyer, attorney.
Yeah. So I'm all about contracts and all of that, but threatening and all of that stuff when you're trying to negotiate, it's a last resort. I don't like to.
Have you ever closed a transaction with a real estate agent who also used to be an attorney?
Yes.
How'd that go? I closed one yesterday.
Why don't you tell me how yours went?
I'm really good at negotiating, and I felt like I was not at an advantage at all.
Really? Go on.
Basically, there was multiple. It was a lot of bullying. I don't ever get bullied.
Which side were you on?
I can't imagine you getting bullied.
Yeah,
You were on the buy side or the listing side?
left side,
Okay.
which I'm already kind of in a defense because we're selling off market too, and then we're selling it below list price.
Well, that's why.
And well, I understand.
Okay.
I still want some transactions.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, definitely got a little bit bullied there. And then it was like, what the fuck? Why am I taking this?
Right.
And then I didn't bully back. I just said, I understand your concerns. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
We said no to their first concerns. Then they threatened to back out of the contract. I'm like, really? You're going to do that? And then he throws all the technical terms of everything he has in contract and then threw at me. We have such and so to review the HOA documentation on this contract. I'm like, now we're not friends. If anyone who uses HOA as a fucking complaint on a single family home, we are not going to be friends. If anyone uses, just that's another portion. There was nothing. It's an acre lot community. There's nothing that you can do whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to use HOA docs to back out of a contract as a conversation. I'll tell you who it is, Matt, after this podcast.
The buyer or the...
That's part of it, though. I mean, you just have to expect that. That's
No.
why. I just mean, well, if you're asking, I just mean that's part of it. You have to expect everything to go wrong. You have to expect. At least I do. I expect.
I would agree. I mean, not everything, but I
do. I'm like worst case, best case scenario kind of person. I prep my clients for the worst.
I feel like that's
hope for the
unusual
best.
for a real estate agent.
I have to.
I
have to.
She
Yeah,
loves
you-
that. She's good at that stuff. I will give Dina a lot of props there. She understands contracts really well. She educates clients on all the. There are not a lot of contingencies, but a lot of things that can hold up a deal.
Right, before you sign anything, because that stuff always comes back. I literally had the same thing happen with that one one of the ones I was just telling you about. The guy was trying to threaten me with all these things. And
Georgetown one?
one of the ones that closed 15% higher,
Okay.
when we went under contract, we agreed to all these things. He was super duper nice. And then he came back and was like, I never said that. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And was very trying to threaten. But luckily we were kind of wrapped up enough. I will say with when you were just talking about, that's what I feel like when you try to sell off market, that does happen a lot because they know that there's no other competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I always advise to go on the market if possible, unless you're accepting something that's like above market and they just don't even realize it and they're selling it off market.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like that's
We were on ALN.
Yeah. ALN has the worst like back end. I hate ALN so much. It's so hard you can't even set up searches for your clients. It's such a pain in the butt to try to go on there every single day and find houses for people.
What was the reason for going off market like this?
Reset 90 days. Days on market.
Well, that's good of you to you found a buyer for it off market and you closed it, right?
Went through all my reverse prospecting, made my phone calls, called out the past showing time notifications I had from showings,
You're a beast.
and then we got it done.
You're a beast.
Yeah. And then got them their net proceeds to exactly what they needed to be able to move to their next city to be with their kids and grandkids, and it all worked out.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can just send that guy, you can send people poop by mail.
Really?
That's going to be a new reel.
You can send it to the attorney.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Poop by mail.
Yeah.
What kind of poop?
I don't actually know. It actually came up in conversation.
Did you just think of that?
I mean, I've seen the whole bag of dicks thing.
Yeah, it's like a bag of dicks. So like send a glittery exploding bag of dicks
I've
or
seen
poop by
that.
mail. I don't know, but I heard about it yesterday because we're actually dealing with this lady. She's Satan reincarnated. I hate her so much. And she's been threatening us with attorneys for like months now. I can't even get into it. But moral of the story is she's like, well, I have an attorney on retainer. I was like, great. Have your attorney contact my attorney. And then we just like CC'd her in. And then she like would never put her attorney in.
Right.
And my attorney has now been like, we've asked you multiple times, for your attorney. And she's like, well, I'm not getting my attorney involved because I don't want to bother him with these kinds of stuff. And it's like, no, because you're a penny pincher and that's how you got in this situation to begin with. And she's like, I'm filing for this, this, and this. And my attorney was like, great. Here's the address to send it to. I'll be representing my clients and we are going to counterfile. Oh. So it's like just dealing with attorneys. I feel like it's just important to have a better attorney on your side.
Agreed. Let's go into market. What are you seeing right now with listings and how you're reacting with buyers? Current, let's go last 2 weeks.
So listings, everything's first, it's like randomly, I think 48 days is like the magic number. People are not realizing that stuff is not selling in 30 days like it used to. Mm-hmm. And then you'll randomly get a pop. Like I randomly got pops on all of mine unless they are overpriced. And if they're overpriced and your client will not listen to drop, good luck. It's going to sit there forever and ever and ever and ever. So there's only so much you can do to advise. On the buy side, oh my gosh, the deals that I'm getting right now is incredible. Like just so incredible. I've bought 2 myself this year. So I'm not one of the agents who's saying it's a great time to buy. Like I'm actually buying myself.
Right.
So.
Good job.
Thanks.
What are the sentiment though of the clients? I mean, we talked about, you said on the buy side, you're getting great deals, but what are your buyers like?
I mean, I just have all kinds of buyers right now. Lots of multifamily because a lot of bridge loans are coming due. A lot of commercial stuff where people bought during the boom and they have bridge loans coming due and they have to, is this like shit or get off the pot? Can I say that on this podcast? Is this PG-13?
No. Say whatever you want.
They have to shit or get off the pot. And so you're getting a lot of really good deals on stuff like that. A lot of new construction. There's so many people who decided they were going to be a builder or a realtor when it was booming. Yeah. And they have all these new constructions that they thought were going to take them 12 months to build and took them 3 years to build or 2 years to build. And now they're just sitting there like severely overpriced. And you just come in and just snatch them for basically what it costs them to build it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always that in the business. There's always a lot of real estate agents that think they're going to become property managers and all this other stuff. And well, not even just agents. I mean, just regular people. I get the phone call all the time for the investor. You've seen me do it 100 times. So I'm with you. I hear that.
Yeah.
Are you dealing with any? So it sounds like the majority of what you're dealing with is investors, though. I mean, you haven't mentioned anybody who's like looking to sell and buy a residential home. Really, it's multifamily. It's
no. I mean, I still have regular like sellers and buyers.
And what's
for
their
sure.
attitude?
A lot of people though right now. So when I'm recommending to my repeat clients, if they want to sell and buy, I'm like, if you can afford to keep your other house and rent it out, let's do that and buy another one because it's a really, really good time to buy. So what I'm telling people is, if you are going to sell, you better buy. Because some people are saying, oh, well, I'm not going to get as much money right now when I sell. If you look at the trends, you're still getting more now than you would if there was no boom, if there was no pop, even though it's a little bit less than what Zillow says or whatever you think, you're still getting more. If you're looking at a 3 to a 5 to an 8, percent year-over-year trend, you're still getting more. So I would say sell and then get a really, really good deal on the buy. Otherwise, keep your other property, rent it out, and then still buy something because you're going to get a really good deal on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. And a lot of people, unfortunately, their issues are that they can't afford to buy the new home without selling the one they're currently in.
Right. And if that's the case, then I say do it because ultimately where you live, it's going to dictate your mood. It's going to dictate a lot of things that people don't realize. Like when you come home, we just moved and we moved from, a third of an acre to a 2-acre lot. And oh my gosh, when I come home, driving in that gate, with a park-like setting and everything else, our house itself is only like 600 square feet bigger. So it's not really the house, but it's the lot and the vibes. We have like cows that are, come to the back of our lot that we get to feed now and everything else. And so it's just totally different vibes every day than it was before. And
real estate ASMR.
Real estate ASMR.
Got it. The vibes.
2-acre lots.
Cows you can feed.
Cows you can feed. Sunsets you can see. no more city vibes. And honestly, I hate to say this, but I'm not the realtor that you call when you want to live in the city because I don't really like the gunshots and all the crime. So come out to the west side.
Those are my two favorite things about the city. If you took out the gunshots and crime, then what are we really even doing?
I'm more of a Lake Travis / Lake Austin / golf course / Dripping Springs Ranch girly.
I want to defend my family with my shotgun in Doberman.
Yeah, you just want to like make my
Especially
day.
the Doberman.
Make my day.
Kemps, what do you got? Buyer sentiment, election, the excuse train's going to be over, man.
Tomorrow. So did you see what was posted on Broke Agent Media last night?
No.
Okay, so it was, what's the dude from Aquaman? What's his name?
Jason Momoa.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's him and some other dude standing up and Jason Momoa about to come tackle him.
Oh, yeah.
It said real estate agent and it said election over November 6th, day after.
Yeah.
It's real estate agent, buyer.
I legit, and I'm doing it on Thursday because I think Wednesday's going to be too soon, but every month I go through all of my, active approval letters, and I just kind of reach out and say, hey, how's the house hunting going? And it's already the 5th today, and I would have normally already done it. And I was like, I'm not even going to waste my time doing it until the election's over.
Yeah. Nobody's paying it. Yeah.
I'll reach out on Thursday to everybody and say, hey, what's up? And, get the responses so to avoid.
We're going to have to turn this into, it's the election. We have to turn it a little political. Okay.
Sure.
Did you watch Fox News at all last night?
No.
Okay.
You know what I did watch that
What?
is political?
What?
I rented the movie. I spent $20 because it's still in the theaters, and I just hate going to movie theaters.
Same.
I rented The Apprentice,
Yep.
the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
It was pretty good. Didn't really change anything that, you kind of already don't know, but holy shit, it's like a movie about Roy Cohen, basically, and that relationship. So it was pretty wild. don't want to spoil it since it's still in theaters.
So,
But Fox News last night, sorry.
okay. Why, if you're, just question for open conversation here, you're a Democrat and you start boarding up your businesses. There was plenty of business that was getting boarded up in Los Angeles, there in San Francisco, in Seattle, in Austin, didn't see it as much. But then all these recorded footages of people boarding up their buildings. Why, as you, whether you're Democrat or Republican, why are you boarding up your buildings?
Well, I mean, there's a couple different reasons. The first thing, though, is that is great optics for the media. So, they're
I
going
understand. Of course it is.
They're going to put that up no
But
matter
it
what.
worked on me. I literally got
And
it.
then the idea is that no matter who wins, there's a strong possibility that people are going to take to the streets and protest. And then you've got, we know that there are bad actors that come in and intentionally take peaceful protesters and get them all riled up to do crazy shit. In fact, some of the people doing the crazy shit are on the opposing side of just to make them look bad. So
What's his name? I'm horrible with actor names. What's the dude from Meet the Fockers? The grandpa?
Oh, he's so funny.
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Talk
Robert De Niro?
There you go. Did you see him yesterday?
No.
Well, he's got TDR big time.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Trump.
Hey, don't vote for Trump.
TDS.
He's a Nazi.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
He's got TDS real bad.
I would have thought that he would be pro-Trumper.
No, he's in the Hollywood.
I don't know
elite
what's with
stuff,
all the
but-
Hollywood Diddy people, the Diddy party. It's one big Diddy Democrat party. I'm sorry, but it's gross. And I think it's funny that J-Lo's trying to act all emotional and be like, oh, I hate Trump, when she was literally dating Diddy while he was doing all this stuff. So it's okay.
Wait, what did he do?
Yeah. Well, if you go get some baby oil, maybe we can replay with Matt and you guys can do something really fun for your podcast for the views. But
I'm just dumbfounded. That celebrity endorsements mean anything to anyone.
yeah, and what I feel really passionately about is that J-Lo, if you just Google how she treats normal people, like her hairdresser, her makeup person, she spits on people. She is so terrible to any normal person, and that's literally who she's petitioning to right now, crying online. It's for all these, and don't hate me for this, but uneducated people who don't pay attention to anything until election day, and they're like, oh, she must be right. It's let's look at all the history. She was literally dating this man while he was doing all this stuff. She's terrible to normal people. And now you want to listen to her? Why do you think she's doing that? Maybe because she doesn't want people getting arrested that she cares about who are really bad people.
Well, she's always been honest. She told you not to be fooled by the rocks that she's got. She's still Jenny from the block.
I'm out.
Did you?
She was honest.
And then on the flip side, did you listen to or / watch the Joe Rogan and JD Vance interview?
I have not seen that one yet, but I heard that he endorsed Trump. I haven't seen that yet either, but
Very much so.
yeah, I love that.
Well, JD Vance is running with Trump.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But I heard
No,
that.
that
No, I
Rogan
heard
endorsed-
Rogan
yes.
endorsed Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Rogan.
And it was probably my favorite. That was probably my favorite podcast that Rogan did was with JD.
I'll have
It
to
was
check it
really
out.
good.
I know. I think wasn't he with Theo Vaughn too. I haven't seen it yet. He was with someone else. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch those, but I love to like leave them on while I'm doing laundry and stuff in the background. They're
JD
good
Vance
vibes.
grew up like 40 miles from where I grew up.
He's a good
Ohio
dude.
boy.
He is a good dude.
Yeah, he's badass.
Yeah, I think if Trump wins, he's got a great chance of being the next president.
So do I.
Yeah.
Kaylee was asking me that last night, and she goes, "Okay, so we got 4 years if this guy wins, right? What happens after that?" I'm like, "Watch for 8 more years with JD."
I was actually thinking about that too. Trump is so astute and smart and witty that even right now he's still with the comebacks. I was like, I think he could go 2 terms, but worst case scenario, he could go 1 and then JD could go.
Well, he can't legally
Well,
go
Kamala's got some redeeming qualities.
2. Shut the fuck up.
No,
What?
he
I
can
mean,
go
we can't-
2. He
we
can go
can't
2
just be
consecutive.
totally-
You can do
We
2
can't just be
consecutive
totally
and that's it.
one-sided.
No, he
That's the
can't-
limit.
no.
You can do 2 consecutive and that's it.
I know, but Trump can't run again after this.
Right.
He can run again if he doesn't win, but he's not. He's already
this
served
will
4
be his
years.
last term. But
No, it's 2 consecutive. If you take a break in the middle, which he technically has.
No.
Where's my phone? I need to Google this.
I
'Cause I'm
promise you.
99%
I promise
sure.
you.
but Kamala's got a nice laugh.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I think it's really sad the way that Biden was losing, and then they took a woman of color and they're using her as a pawn to appeal to people. And it's like, I'm a woman of color. She's not who I would want to be the president, and I am so pro girl. I want someone who's going to fix what's going on right now. It's a total mess.
I think it's tough to just vote for the administration in general, let alone Harris, because I've heard the argument, which is a terrible argument, but I've heard quite a few people talk about the argument of that, clearly it's not really the president who's like running the country, which that to me is terrifying in itself. So that, if you're voting for Harris, you're not really voting for her, but you're voting for more of, an administration that's associated with it. But I think even the administration that's associated with Harris, if you really do take her out of the equation, I just don't understand how, you could look at that and be like, oh, yeah, this makes a ton of sense. But
I agree.
I hear this like by any means necessary argument a lot because, Trump is so bad that we have to win by any means necessary if you are in the Democratic Party. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. One thing I know for sure is that regardless of whoever you're politically, vibing with, none of them seem to really give a fuck about me. So I definitely hang my hat on that. I'm personally more about less government than more. But yeah, it's tough to watch all of it, to be quite honest. But
I think I'm more moderate as well. Like, there are certain things that I don't agree with, and there are certain things that I do agree with both parties. Like, as a woman, I don't think a 60-year-old white man should be telling me what to do with my body. So I'm more liberal in that sense. Mm-hmm. But I also don't want my son learning about sex changes and transvestites and stuff in elementary and middle school. It's just insane. Like, it's totally out of control. And there's and the wars and the economy. And so if I had to pick between the two, I'm going to pick kids and our economy as a whole and other people dying in other countries because it's basically being funded by us. And our own people are struggling when they're on the streets starving.
yeah.
So
Well, you've got those issues that are more, I don't know what you'd consider like abortion and transgender. There's definitely a word for the type of feeling you have for something like that versus the economy, for example. And I think a lot of times we get into these like heartfelt issues, and they are important, they're complex, but I think a lot of it is designed to distract away from the cash grabs and the money and the things that are associated with.
It's unfortunate too that you have to vote one way or the other. Like, it's unfortunate that you can't vote on each thing, if that makes sense.
No.
What do you mean?
I mean, you have to vote like
We're in a democratic republic, so you vote
Got
for your...
it.
right.
Yeah. So
because there are certain things that I agree with and certain things that I don't. But like I said, I just the kids are just so important to me, and I really just don't want my son growing up with all that stuff.
So I heard a really good thing that we can relate to real estate right now, that it does involve politics, so we're kind of killing two birds with one stone. One thing that both sides agree on is the fact that we clearly have a inventory issue in regards to real estate in general, and analysts and economists, as well as even just like, statisticians, there is no way that we can catch up to the correct amount of inventory that we will need in the United States unless we do something that either A, reduces regulation, right? Or B, is going to increase the spend, if you will, which is ultimately going to come from tax dollars. And so we know traditionally, like, which side wants to reduce regulation, which side wants to, spend more money per se. And both of these will work, and there's no right or wrong answer. But I find it interesting that, we talk a lot about the things that divide in regards to your political parties. This is one that they both agree on, and I'm very interested to see, regardless of who becomes elected, because, I selfishly think about the things that are going to positively or negatively impact me first, right? I'm just keeping it real. And that's one of them.
I think everyone does. It's normal.
And that's one of the things that in our industry, regardless of who becomes elected, someone's going to be making those decisions to alleviate this problem that we have. And I don't know, I haven't really given either one of you a chance to think about it, but what are your thoughts in regards to what you feel would help increase inventory and create more affordability, and how do you do that without
rates can't drop too much?
Well, interest rates isn't going to create inventory.
Yeah, it would. If you drop rates, you're not going to have any inventory.
You have too many people and not enough houses.
I understand.
So
I think the tariffs are great that Trump's trying to do, which is basically helping. It's going to help people's income in the United States. I think people are not getting paid enough to be able to.
That's not going to help inventory. So let me tell you the two things.
Not inventory. Sorry, I just thought you meant to help people buy.
Affordability is so we can create more inventory, but even with creating more inventory, it's not going to necessarily help with affordability if people can't. So to your point, yes, I mean affordability. You mentioned lower interest rates would help affordability, but even if we make affordability more affordable, that's actually going to hurt inventory.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. If you drop rates too much, it's going to delete inventory.
So again, going back to what I said about both political parties, in agreement that we have an inventory issue. There's only a few ways to fix this, and I'll go over them, and then I'd love to get your opinion. So one of them we've talked about is reducing regulation. So for example, we are already seeing a little bit of it in Austin, where we're seeing reduced lot sizes, in terms of building.
How you can go up?
How high you can go up, reduced regulation in regards to how long it might take to get permitting. There may be even certain situations in regard to what some would consider maybe like cutting corners or whatever, things that are currently, bureaucratic that are on the books that it's like, we don't need to do this anymore. We can speed this process up. That's one way, again, by reducing regulation. The other one is by, focusing on using U.S. tax dollars, whether it be by first-time homebuyer credits by reducing cost of goods, reducing things like that for builders and everything like that. I mean, both of these incentives either come to a builder as far as reduced regulation or reduced cost to a builder.
Reduced cost.
Both of those are opportunities that are available, but that reduced cost would not come from, the suppliers taking hits. It would come from subsidies coming from tax dollars. So what are your thoughts in regards to the inventory? And then we'll focus on the affordability.
Me or you?
No, go ahead.
How do I want to go about this?
If you were a city planner and you're proposed with a problem, you're going to...
Just being totally blunt, I am very against tax dollars. I want to personally keep as much of my money as possibly can. Going back to the selfish focus of me, I don't want to be paying Uncle Sam too much money. I understand that it's going to hurt with development. If we're talking about cost of goods coming out of taxes and everything else, I personally don't want to sit there. With that being said, though, even more so, I do not want to incentivize buyers with tax dollars to a first-time home buyer platform.
Well, that would be the affordability part.
I understand.
Okay.
I don't want to do that either. Primarily reason because we're going to have even more inflation. So let's just say we hand them over, I'm going to do a round number of $25,000 as a down payment. Well, that $25,000 is quickly going to turn into a $25,000 average increase in pricing. So that $25,000 is going to price them out of a price point even more so. So to me, that is completely worthless. Now let's look at the portion of we're talking about, goods, cost to build, with whether it be discounts or incentives from government to cover costs for goods on building, right? Keeping everything local, I would be first thing. Not outsourcing for lumber, not outsourcing for any of that. Keeping everything that we can in the U.S. and starting there. That's going to keep your costs down to start with and not going out of the country for that. Sure, we may want to have some interior design portions that come from Europe or whatever it might be because that's just a taste portion. But the actual quality of build that we're talking on a mass scale, get more jobs in the U.S. and create that.
So when we talk about taxes, just for the record, it's not the people paying taxes. What it is it's tax abatements that these builders would receive. So they wouldn't be paying into taxes. Money wouldn't be coming out of your pocket, but less money would be coming into, the U.S. economy through taxation because you would give tax breaks to builders.
Then yes, I'm okay with that.
And then again, the other alternative is focusing on, reduced regulation as far as permitting and everything along those lines.
I still want to keep that. Personally.
Yeah, because the quality of construction has gone down immensely.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
just hop online. It's pretty nuts.
And again, these are things that I feel will be definitely voted on and talked about and everything along those lines. And, I haven't done a ton of research, but obviously you can tell I've read into it a little bit. And I don't necessarily know what the right answer is because you look back on certain projects and things like that have occurred in the past through building with tax abatements. And I love that idea because it's not money that's coming out of the pockets of, the consumer directly, like out of your paycheck. Yeah. But it's less money to go around for other things when larger corporations and builders, for example, are not paying taxes because they're incentivized to build more. So there's that give and take. And then clearly the regulation side of things, definitely don't want people building things that are not going to be.
What about registered builder doesn't have short-term cap gains?
I mean, same thing. It's all it is a tax break. You can move it around any way you want, but to keep it, simple, it's large corporations that are paying less in taxes with the incentive that they're going to be able to build more homes with the money that they're making. To straw man it, someone would say, well, they're not going to actually take the money and build those homes. They're just going to put it in their bank accounts because that's what rich people do. There is no incentive for them to build more than what they say they're going to build. So you can go ahead and give that tax cut, but rich people don't care about the middle class, so they're not going to build the extra homes. They're just going to take the tax cut.
They definitely care about the middle class because someone needs to buy that house.
Well, someone needs to buy it, but again, if you're doing the cap gains, now you're making more money. So selling more homes doesn't really incentivize you if you're making more money on. And again, this is a straw man argument. This is what someone would say. The reduced in regulation, on the other hand, could put people in unsafe homes. You might have fire issues, this, that, and the other. People would argue that new build homes are built like shit already anyway. So, why would you do reduced regulation? And then in my opinion, I was against the whole affordable housing portion in Austin where we are reducing the size of lots that we build on. I don't like that. I think at the end of the day, what it does is it incentivizes people to purchase and put together Airbnbs. I don't think you're creating any type of solution for a affordable home situation. I think a lot of investors are utilizing it as an opportunity to capitalize on purchasing properties in the city, cutting up the lots and finding an opportunity to put up a rental property, which is not home ownership. And I voted against it. And so going back to the thesis of this whole argument, this is one thing, red or blue, that everybody agrees on is that we need to figure, and for the record, to double back, the why behind it is that you had about 3.5 to almost 4 years after 2008 where builders were absolutely fucking terrified to build and had a very difficult time finding funding for it. So you have a 4-year almost like fast of home building that compounds to there is no fucking way that with the way things are right now, if nothing changes, we will always have an inventory issue, which will always result in a home unaffordability issue. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about how do we fix affordability, building more homes is step one, regardless of how you feel about $25,000 tax breaks or first-time homebuyer credits, anything along those lines. You cannot fix affordability without an influx in inventory.
Facts. Do you know the appreciation rate from 1970 to 2024?
I mean, year over year or total?
Total.
Probably like 450%.
That's the highest that we've seen. The average is 275.
Was that right?
Well, the highest we've
I was
ever
going to
seen.
say 438, so I
Wow.
think we're pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, 275 is the average across the United States. 450 is basically the highest.
So, I mean, if you bought a home 40 years ago, your house is 2.5 times what you paid for it.
4.5.
On average. 4.5. Well, wait. So
Average. So yes, 2.5 times average. 4.5 is the
right.
most.
So even if you bought in like bumfuck Ohio, and there's been little to no appreciation,
On
it's
average,
still
you're
worth
2.5.
2.5 times what? Yeah. There you have it.
Buy low, sell high.
Don't buy in Flint, Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I have a client selling in Flint, Michigan right now if anybody needs a house.
I mentioned it because I guarantee if you're doing an average, that's an example of a city that has fucked up the averages.
It's already under contract, so.
Yeah, for like $12. I get it.
But he made a lot on it.
Yeah.
All right, wrap it up here.
Yeah. Gosh, I wanted to say something quippy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm at a loss for words. I'll leave with my Matt Kirschling with Gold Star Mortgage.
Perfect. And then Matthew Kemps here with Lone Wolf Realty Group at eXp Realty. If you are questioning your brokerage and you want to know where that additional percent is going, don't talk shit. You're coming over too.
I'm thinking about it heavily.
If there's money that you have from a brokerage that you are paying on a either franchise fee or you're paying brand fee or you're on a split and you don't know where that money's going and you want to figure out how you can actually have that money returned back to you and whether it's revenue share or stock, let's have a conversation. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And then we got
Who wants to see me back on the podcast? Did you enjoy the ASMR?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that more. And I feel like I need to keep saying it. I'm personally looking for lack of a better term, like an assistant, sales assistant that we ultimately want to coach up to either get into the lending side of things or the real estate side of things. So I just need to keep putting that out there because I really don't want to turn to Indeed or recruiters or anything like that.
All right, guys. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, we can't wait to have you back.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Thank
Till
you.
next time.